Hello everyone, welcome back to the Mr. Kaoru channel, and today we will be reviewing the House of Tobali and its discovery set, so please stay tuned. Okay, so we are tackling the Tobali and their 6 perfumes from their discovery set. And Tobali is a Japanese niche perfumery house. And a quick data for them, the owner is Muneki Hashimoto, and it's established in Japan, and it's been around since 2017. From their official website, it seems that they are quite focused on bringing avant-garde Japanese DNA into their perfumes. Hidden beauty seems to be a key word in their brand concept as well. They are actually quite accessible from outside of Japan as well, as they do international shipping from their official website. Their perfumes are all EDP concentration, and they retail for 110 euros for 50 ml and 160 euros for 100 ml at the time of this recording. Okay, so let's get into the reviews. Okay, so the first one would be Smoke Flower. And by the way, the perfumer for all their fragrances are not disclosed, so I don't have any perfumer information with me. And all of these, I believe, were released on or after 2018. Notes would be bay rose, cardamom, turmeric, cloves, tobacco, incense, lily of the valley, kanzo, amber, oud, cashmere wood. And in the base, there is hidden Japanism 834. So, Smoke Flower is, to me, a dry, incensey floral, and it stays quite linear to my nose. It is dry to me. You can notice the dry oud accord in the background. You can clearly detect the jasmine rose and the lily of the valley notes. And by the way, I absolutely have no idea what hidden Japanism 834 is, which is listed basically in all of their perfumes as a base note. I literally have no clue what it is, so just to inform you that. Smoke Flower to me is quite synthetic to my nose. The lily of the valley and the wood notes for me are a little bit overpowering for my liking. Projection, maybe moderate to maybe a little bit strong. Longevity, I believe, would be around 7 hours. So yeah, so it is kind of like a slightly incensey rose lily of the valley floral. I will have to say it is kind of on the forgettable side of things to me, to be honest. You can check it out if you like incensey florals. Okay, so the next one would be Cypress Mask. And the notes are saffron, hinoki, nutmeg, frankincense, incense, Japanese ink, cedarwood, papyrus, leather, and oud. So Cypress Mask is a quite unique fragrance. It is an extremely bold hinoki. Hinoki, by the way, is cypress in Japanese. And yeah, hinoki dominant, dry, woody fragrance. You can notice the acid, flory, woody notes, which basically hinoki smells like. And throughout the experience of this perfume, you get this hinoki vibe going through. Yeah, and then in the base there's a dry, leathery oud. This, I believe, gives it this burnt kind of burnt wood effect, which makes this perfume quite interesting. So this is like smoky, burnt wood vibe. In a way, it can almost smell like burnt tar, or kind of like a petrol vibe. Maybe even a burnt rubber vibe. Yeah, and this is really interesting. It's very bold. Yeah, I'd say it's avant-garde actually. When you smell this perfume in the air, when you get wafts of it, it comes across very smoky and dry, right? But when you push your nose against the fragrance, you also get like a slightly sweet sandalwood accord, which to me was quite interesting. So projection is on the good side. Longevity wise, I think you should get around 7 hours throughout the wearing. Yeah, so if you like dry and bold woody fragrances, smoky also, you should definitely check this one out. Okay, so number 3 would be White Storage. The notes are yuzu, bay rose, clove, saffron, geranium, incense, oud, petitgrain, fennel, amber, cedarwood, vetiver, and sandalwood. So White Storage to me is their take on a vetiver-based fragrance. It opens up with a peppery yuzu blast, which is quite pleasing. You also feel the greenness coming from the petitgrain as it dries down. And in base you get a dry cedar/oud accord and along with dry vetiver, which gives you a dark impression. Projection is moderate and it lasts about 6 to 7 hours on my skin. At the end of the day, it really smells similar to Lalique's Ancre Noir. I would even say that it is a refined version of Lalique's Ancre Noir. Why I say that is because White Storage does not have the sour, inky vibe that you would find in Ancre Noir, which turned a lot of people off. In this one, you don't find that, so kind of like a refined version of it. To me, it's like 80 to 90% similar to Ancre Noir, especially in the dry down. I mean, if by any chance Lalique's Ancre Noir gets discontinued, not that I'm saying it will, I would definitely say this would be a great alternative. Okay, so that pretty much explains what this fragrance smells like. The 4th fragrance would be Iron Wind. The notes are saffron, cloves, cumin, iris, violet leaves, amber, iron, oud, dry woods, cedarwood, and incense. Before we get into the scent, in the write-up of this fragrance, it's mentioning ancient Japanese warlords swinging katanas and weapons in their iron armors, and that swing creating wind or something. So okay, that's what's mentioned in the write-up. So it's kind of interesting. This fragrance to me is their take on a incense fragrance. I mean, like a oud/incense, I would say. In the opening, you get the iris and amber accord, but quickly it turns into a dry oud/incense vibe, spiced up with cloves and cumin. The first thing that comes to my mind when smelling this fragrance is basically really ancient Japanese temples. That really dark Japanese ancient temples, where they burn a lot of incense, and throughout the years the incense kind of seeped into the walls and everything. I mean, that's what it smells like. I should note that there is a rusted cast iron core in the heart of this fragrance, which make this fragrance feels, kind of like rugged and kind of dusty and interesting for me. This will give you a moderate projection with 6 hours longevity. You may want to check this out if you like temple incense accords, which come across a little bit dusty and rugged. And the 5th fragrance is Spring Snow. Okay, the notes are turmeric cherry blossom, creamy powdery snow, white sandalwood, cashmere wood, vetiver, amber, and musk. So this would be Tobali's take on sandalwood, a very well put together, creamy, sweet sandalwood. The sandalwood vibe here has kind of like a buttery texture to it. It's really smooth. There is a cherry blossom vibe which supports the natural sweetness, and it's very subtle. I just kind of like there to support the sweetness of the sandalwood as well, to amp it up a little bit. This fragrance is very smoothly blended. It has absolutely no edges whatsoever. Very rounded, pleasing to the nose. The texture is very light and fluffy as well. The experience is quite linear. It doesn't develop much. Just a very, very well blended, creamy, soft sandalwood scent. Projection is on the light side, and longevity, I believe, would be around 6 hours. So if you like soft sandalwood fragrances, you might as well give it a try. And the last fragrance is Water Reflection. And the notes are lime, tangerine, bergamot, gardenia, Japanese ink, green tea, violet, ebony, and musk. Okay, so for me, this is their take on gardenia. And before I get into the review, I must inform you that this is one of those very, very rare fragrances that I have difficulties with. Even though I know I am going to get a lot of dislikes from reviewing this, as well as getting a headache, I'm doing this just for you guys, okay? So, this fragrance starts off with a prominent tangerine note on top and a very strong gardenia note in the heart of this perfume, which lasts all the way. Besides the gardenia, you feel fruity tangerine vibe, as well as some hints of violet leaves, dry patchouli-esque earthy vibe in the base of this fragrance. What puts me off is this extremely overpowering synthetic gardenia note, and I believe this is what's giving me this headache that every time I experience this fragrance. Maybe I'm, my body is overreacting to this some other raw materials in this fragrance, but it's really difficult for me to even give it a full try since I get this really strong headache as soon as I start sniffing. Projection is, yeah, it's quite strong, and longevity, I would believe it's going to pass the 7-hour, 8-hour mark, because on the tester strip it's there for eternity. I know there are a lot of fans of this perfume, and this perfume is one of Tobali's top selling perfumes as well. Yeah, so if you're a fan of this perfume, I'm very sorry, but as a reviewer, I have to give you my honest personal experience that I'm getting. For me personally, this is not a perfume that I would buy. That does not mean you would dislike it as well. You might really like this perfume, so I'm just saying. To wrap it up, if you like gardenia-based fragrances, you can give it a try. I don't know, but this is not one for me. Okay, so that pretty much covers my review of 6 fragrances from the house of Tobali. There were hits and misses. I definitely liked Cypress Mask, Iron Wind, Spring Snow were solid perfumes, I believe. I need a little bit more time to come to a conclusion though, if I'm going to buy a full bottle or not. From what I experienced, I think their scent making is a little bit on the synthetic side of things, not to take anything away from that. And to be honest, I couldn't feel too much Japanese DNA from what I smelled. That's only my personal opinion. But all in all, I think their fragrances are quite solid, and you can always give it a try and get the samplers. I think at least they're worth to check out and get a sampler. Okay, so if you like my content, please give it a thumbs up, click the subscribe button for future updates, and hope to see you in the next video. Thanks.